Hello, this is Greg Allison from Green Greg's. I got worms. No kidding, I have worms now. This is my worm beds, my sled bed worm beds that I brought from Alabama. My invention for growing worms. I've done videos on that. And I couldn't really have worms out here until I got water. Because let me tell you what, you got to water out here a lot. The air is so dry. I came out here to these worm beds just yesterday, after all the rain we got, all the monsoon rain. I thought this this organic matter would have been soaking wet, and I've watered it since then, but it was bone dry. I don't mean dry, I mean bone dry. So I'm going to put the worms, I just got a little bit to start out with, and I'm going to put them, I got some more coming into. I'm going to put them here in these 4 containers, these 4 sled beds, and I am going to cover them up. One of the covers to keep the moisture in, because it'd be dried out before the end of the day. The worms would be dead before the sun set if I didn't do this, probably, because this stuff dries out so fast, it's mind-boggling out here. That's the problem. That's the challenge with gardening and everything else here. The air is so dry that everything dries out. But I have water here now. I ran water all the way from my water tank way up on the other side of the house, through the fields back here to back here. And I'm gonna run water over here when I'm gonna have a greenhouse one day. I'm almost got it over there too. So a lot of water projects. The cat wants to know about the worms, the worm beds. Now, he's used to these because he's from Alabama. He remembers my worm operation. Anyway, I am partnering, there's my rooster. So I got chickens now. I am partnering with LEHMAN'S worms, and I'm gonna set up a deal with them to get worms to you guys at a little bit of a discount. And that's who I got my worms from, the nice little bag they've come in. And so I am going to try to put some of these worms in each worm bed here. And I'll see if I can do that with a camera. I don't know, it's kind of hard for me to do, hold the camera and do this at the same time. But there's some. There are worms in here. You can see them. Look at that, guys. I don't know if you can see those in the dark, but there are a lot of worms in there. Let's come over here. Put some over here, and I'll pull back the top. You can see I've got some food scraps in here. I'm not measuring this scientifically because I got the phone in my hand. Just bringing them out of the bag. All right, we got some worms in here. And I think the most of them went in that first bed. And I'll put some worms in here. And there we are. Get the bag out. Now, she ships them in a different way than I used to. Let's see here. All right, I am going to cover this up. I might water them a little bit more first. Yeah, let's give them some more water. Now, I don't have my water pump turned on right now. I've got a water pump. I run it with a gasoline generator. That's the old trailer I used to grow microgreens in. Got hot on me out here, so I had to take my t-shirt off. I think it's up to, it might be up close to 50 degrees. Then I hot out here. Yeah, everybody thinks Arizona is hot. Not up here in the northern Arizona. A lot of misconceptions about what Arizona is and what Arizona's like. I'll pull this hose around the front side here. And because I don't have the generator on, it's just going to come out with a pressure of whatever's supplied by the tank. Give them a little water. I don't want to give them too much. I don't want to drown them. Actually, worms don't drown. They don't have lungs, but you can get too much water in them. That material she shipped them in is a little dry. So we're going to reanimate these worms. Anyway, I'll pull this on around here better. I was watering from the other side over there. If I don't add the worms over here, it kind of makes more sense to add the feed and water from this side. They're alive, they're moving. That's good. They've been probably in the mail for about a week. This is Saturday. I'm assuming she shipped them on Monday. I'm gonna take some of these and put them in that other last bed over there. Are you afraid to handle worms? They won't hurt you. go. Worms are not going to hurt you, my friends. That's going to take them, about a week or two to get used to the bed, and I'll pour some water in here. That stuff's still kind of dry. So I'm going to partner with her. And, for West Coast, I might partner with somebody else too for some deliveries. So, primarily her, I think. So there we are. We got red worms. And I'm going to give them a little bit more water here. Then we're going to cover them up. Now in Alabama, you had to cover the worm beds. Keep birds out. Robins. Well, there are some blue birds out here, look like a cross between a bluebird and a blue jay. I don't know what the heck they are. But worms just don't live out here in this desert soil. So that's not part of their normal diet. Also, the good thing here is I don't have moles. M-O-L-E-S. That was my biggest bane in Alabama. Moles destroyed everything constantly. And I spent a lot of money. Ooh, what's happening here? Oh, my pop's kinked. Trying to do this while I'm holding my phone. There we go. Why don't you see all these? That's like morning glories. Here after we had a little rain, all kind of stuff sprouting out, especially a lot of plants like that. And this is that. Normally you have a frost by this time out here. They don't stand a chance. It's only gonna be a week or two. All those little green things over there. Till we get into the frost. So, now I think I got everything watered enough. I'm going to close my valve. And a good protocol with hoses is to, of course it's not high pressure, make sure there's no pressure in it. After you close the valve, because in the sun, they'll heat up and split your hoses. Now these are the high grade professional hoses. I am going to kind of smear these guys around a little bit so they'll go into the compost. You'll see a lot of vegetable matter in here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna water these guys a little bit more here because I'm gonna spread it out. The interior of the peat moss ball was a little bit on the damp side. Now, these are red worms. Red worms can be blue. Just give you a warning. Whoops, we got one out here in the desert. You ain't gonna survive it here, buddy. Put them back in there. Now, worms, if the environment ain't right, they're gonna crawl out and another place to live. And if they do that, out here they're gonna die. If they don't find a way back into the habitat they climbed out of, which they don't have the sense for that probably. They got brains. They're really smart to be what they are, but there's limitations. So them crawling out and chances of them finding their way back, I don't know. They could. But chances are they get out here, it's too dry, they're not gonna survive very long at all. So hopefully they'll stay in the beds where the moisture is, especially with it covered up. I'm putting them in here in the morning. I got these worms yesterday. I think they actually arrived Thursday. But I have to drive an hour's drive away where I have my mailbox where I get packages here. Because the post office closes at 4, and I work past 4 every day. And then I don't on Saturdays. And if you don't come by and pick a package up by 5 days, they send it back. I've had stuff sent back that I lost because of that. So I opened another post. I got a commercial mailbox another half hour's drive further away. So an hour's drive from me to get mail, packages. Because the post office is not reliable for such things. For anybody that's got a job. But anyway, look at these plants here, guys. This stuff is just popping up. It's not going to survive. That kind of vegetation will not survive the first frost. And we're already way past when the first frost normally occurs here. I think last year it was snowing this time. I'm gonna add just a little bit more water. So I spray them around. I watered all this stuff down really good earlier, and I brought some scrap vegetables down here. And we'll give them just a little bit more water, and then we'll cover it up. There we go. We want happy worms. Now there is decaying tree bark and stuff in here, tree trimmings that have been ground up that they can eat on. There is a lot of stuff in here for them to eat to start out with. I'm going to be buying probably some of the feed like I used to buy in Alabama, if I can find it out here. I know I can get the chick layer crumbles, some of the chick crumbles. That is something I like to feed because it's ground up real fine. Makes a good feed for worms. Just hope I can find it out here. Organic. All right, we got that taken care of. Now we're going to cover them up. So I already laid out this tarps before I even started to put worms in here, so that once I put the worms in and start the video, I wouldn't be fussing around with this too much. It'd be easy go. So I got it folded properly. Hopefully bend down inside of these bins and low down like this, the wind won't pick them up and blow them to Mars. I am on Mars here, really. The winds out here are horrendous. I may have to add rocks in here. Where Smokey's at right now? He's probably up harassing the chickens. Probably one of them crowing. Oh, there he is. We got Rat Force 1, Freddy Cat, and Rat Force 2. Smokey here. Smokey the cat. And there we are. I think we're ready for day one. I'll have to come out here and water them every swinging day out here. Probably as long as it's semi-warm. But the good news is that I got worms. So what's my plans with these worms? I'm not going to operate the way I used to in Alabama. Having to hire the kind of people I was hiring there just didn't work. I mean, I could not sell the worms for enough money. I'd had to sell them for $400 a pound to pay for their labor, because they wasn't harvesting jack diddle. You know, nobody's going to buy what it would take to have made that operate, because the labor I got just wasn't working. I couldn't make it work. And so I just shut down. I mean, I had a crew of 8 people working the whole weekend. And no, I don't think I can sell them for $400 a pound. And they only got 20 pounds when I used to get 180 pounds a weekend. It's just hard to get good labor. It's exceedingly difficult. Now it's almost impossible. And plus, they steal half of everything you got. I mean, they will basically destroy you. You know, labor in a lot of places will wipe you out. You'd be better off to taking every dollar you can borrow, putting it in a big pile, and setting it on fire than paying for your debt for the rest of your life than you would be hiring some people. I hate to say it, but it's that way. And I think drugs is a big problem in this country. Now, if here's what I'm planning to do. I'm planning to keep this at a level that I can control myself. Remember, I'm an exceedingly busy guy. So I'm not expecting to be selling a lot of worms personally over the internet like I used to. You got to be able to sell hundreds of pounds a week to make that work. And that's time that I don't personally have. But what I might do is get to the point where I might sell a pound or two. I'll probably sell some locally. That's my idea. Because locally you can do really well selling to whoever wants to buy fish bait. And I know locally here, there's going to be a huge market for worm tea and for anything organic to help you help the gardens out. Because this soil here, you know, what they call soil here, we wouldn't call this soil in Alabama. We would call this subsoil or some kind of, it's not soil, but it's just got no nutrients in it. It's hard to grow plants. I mean, these juniper trees grow. These juniper trees that are, just a few foot high are actually hundreds of years old. It's taken them hundreds of years to reach that size. A few little clumps of real hardy grass. That's about all they can make, and some weeds, tumbleweeds, and that's about all that can make it out here. So this is a tough place, but people want to garden. I like garden, but and I have trouble getting the organic matter I need. So this is something that won't make a good market out here, but I got to get my root source stuff. This tree stuff came from Alabama. Now there are people up here, arborists, that will provide wood chips, supposedly, but there's only one anywhere within an hour of me, and he promised he'd deliver some out here about 9 months ago, and I heard squat from him. And You know, there is that app. You can go online. Everybody's telling me, oh, use this app. Well, I found out actually I had subscribed to it before in Alabama and registered for it. And when nobody ever contacted me through that app for tree chips. I updated it for here. No contacts. So you gotta be proactive and go after your arborist to find somebody, tree trimmers, who can supply you that kind of stuff. There is another source I can get stuff from, but the guy hasn't been answering my phone calls. It should be basically forest floor material, which would be perfect for this. Horse manure is what I used to use in Alabama, but Grazon has got so prevalent in it that it's just not usable anymore. It's flat, not usable. It's poison. It's toxic. You got to test it if you get horse manure in advance. Try to sprout some radishes in it, see if it's toxic. I got a big load of toxic manure here, and I got to wait a few years till it breaks down to use it. And that's kind of pitiful, really pitiful. So here we are. We're set up. Like I said, what I plan to do is partner with memes to worms, and eventually, you know, if I could find the right people and the right circumstances out here, then I might make this work. If somebody that really is excited by this and wants to stick with it and help me make a worm business work, then I might go back into the level of business I used to be in. I could even go bigger. I know how to make money growing worms. I know how to make a lot of money growing worms. My issue isn't the worms. It's the people. It's the people. That's the hard part. It's not the worms. Worms are hard. I mean, it's labor. It's labor. The problem is people just don't want to. People want a paycheck for nothing. Most of these people ought to pay you to work for you. And if they paid you, you'd still go broke because they damaged so much stuff. No, I'm really cynical about it because I got so much damage, so much theft, so much stuff that wasn't done, worms that weren't cared for. You know, I could go on and on. You wouldn't believe some of the stories that I ran into. Just lots and lots and lots of problems, drama. It just wasn't worth it, and that's why I moved. To be honest, a big part of it. That, and I didn't like where I lived, in that there's just too many people around. The place was growing like crazy, and the fact that I was too close to nuclear. A lot of things. So out here, I can be a lot better situated in those regards. Nobody bothers me out here. Listen to all the city racket. It's quiet. Yeah, you can see all my junk out here. I got a bunch of windows and things I'm planning to use out there. I haven't got to use a bunch of barrels over here I'm going to use. You know, it's going to take time to get this place up the way I want. But we're working on it. Me and the kitty cat here. This is Freddy Cat. We're working on it, ain't we, baby? We're working on it. These cats follow me out here. There's a Smokey over there. And he's going to get jealous of me petting Freddy Cat. He's got to come on and get something now. Hey, Smokey. See, he had to come on and get some of this. I mean, you can't just pet him and not pet me. Jealous fellers. Jealous fellers. Now, look at Smokey. He's actually not a year old yet. And Freddy Cat here is probably getting up toward 10 years. Maybe close to 8 or 9, 10. And Smokey's bigger already. I think he's got a little coon cat, Maine coon cat in him, maybe, from the looks of him. But anyway, yeah, when Smokey runs, he digs his claws in the ground. He splays his toes out and puts his claws in it. You'd think it was a big dog or a coyote running. So coyotes don't have claws; they run them off out here. But that's where he runs. So, sport cats. Anyway, guys, so I don't know if I could find the right person. I might grow this thing. I mean, the right person working with me would make a ton of money once we got through the initial phase. I mean, you can make it. I know people become millionaires in worm business. It can be done, but it is a lot of work. It is a lot of work. So, yeah, I personally know people that become millionaires in the worm business, seriously. Or you can set up a small-scale business and, you know, make some extra income or make a little money, just enough to support yourself, especially if you're in retirement age. That's the mode I'm going to follow here initially, at least. Unless, like I said, I find the right person. I know how to do it. I know how to build a business. I know how to grow the business. It's just finding the right people. That's the hard part. So, in any event, now I'll tell you this. Since I started Well, before I started my farm, before I started growing aquaponics, remember it was over 7 years ago I had my aquaponics greenhouse running. Before I ever started the worm business in 2011, I was out going across the country visiting other farmers. You're a raven. Let's be flying overhead. He's that one out the other way. Can't get him on camera now. He's done gone. Every swinging farm I found that was operational and successful used labor from south of our border. Nobody using American labor did worth a dog. None. I'm not kidding you guys. This is a sad statement. You know, and that's the guys I had to compete with. You know, I couldn't just, I don't know. Actually, I did pay some people like triple minimum wage for a while. I had to go back and redo everything they did. Had to redo all of it. So I've heard people, oh, you just not paying enough. No, that's not it. It's finding the right people. It's quit. You got to find the right people if you want to build a big business. I'm going to cover this. I'll make a course one day on worm farming and how you can grow it, and I know how to do it. It's just right now I'm not really wanting to build a big operation unless the right people just come to me. If I get the right people show up, then we can make a big difference. Until then, this is going to be something on my scale, something to make compost for my garden, and something that I could sell here locally at a level that's comfortable to me. And that means more to me than anything. That's why I sold most of my worm beds, and I brought 10 out here. And that should be enough. I mean, I got some area to put I was going to put windrows out here. I thought, well, there's no moles out here. I can raise worms in windrows. And that would work except the air being so dry. I'd have to add so much water to those windrows to keep them moist, it'd be crazy. So I've come up with the idea that's nuts. So what I'm thinking to do again is dig trenches, in-ground beds like I used to have, and just cover them over kind of like these beds here. And, you know, I won't put metal and block and all that stuff. I tried so many things in Alabama to keep the moles out. Concrete, none of it worked. I spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars trying to get keep moles out of my beds in Alabama. None of it worked. The only thing you can do is, and you have to do it all the time, is spray spray that castor oil on the ground. Because castor oil gets on their hair, they lick it off, and it gives them the runs, and they die. They die from the case of runs. That's the only way to deal with them out there. But, you know, you got to be constant with it. And I just didn't have time. And my hired help said they were doing it, but they didn't do it. Because I still had moles. You know, they would say they were doing it. They also said they were feeding my rabbits and taking care of feeding them water. And I got back out in Alabama from a trip out here. You know, this is one of my stories. I went to a trip out here, you know, when I was building stuff, building my tiny home. Went back to Alabama. I walked in my rabbit cage and I thought, oh my God. I walked up to the woman who I bought a trailer and put it, you know, about 100 feet from the rabbit cage. And I walked in and says, how's my rabbits doing? She looked at me and smiled real big. Oh, the rabbits, they're doing great. I said, no, they're not. Every swinging one of them is dead. That's the kind of help I was getting. Oh, they're doing great. She didn't do jack to them. And when I started to extract their bodies to bury them, I found they had been past rigor mortis. They had been dead for a while. I mean, they didn't have meat on them. It was just bones and fur. It was sickening to me. And she had the audacity to tell me they were doing great. And she destroyed my trailer. I had to give it away to get it off the property. And I spent a ton of money cleaning it up to give it away. That's the kind of help. That's the kind of help. I mean, there's people that'll promise you the earth, moon, and sky, and then they'll lie. Just flat, bald-faced lie to you. Tell you they're doing stuff and they ain't doing squat. Charge you for time that they're not working. I mean, you got to have some good quality control. You got to be on top of it. You probably need cameras and monitor it. I mean, and that was some of the best labor I could find. Now, I did have a guy that was really good. I loved him to death. Black man named Eddie. He was so good, but he died on me, and I really hate that. Eddie was a good man, really good man. He's the kind of guy I could lay a wallet full of credit cards and cash and lay it down next to him and go to sleep, and I wouldn't have to think twice about it. You know, but people like that are so rare, and they're almost non-existent today. Good man. I mean, my system was working at first. It was the COVID that really caused the first crash of what I was doing with worm growing. It was working until then. Post office was killing everything I shipped. I quit shipping, and I lost the help that I had at that time, and I never could get that kind of help back. And Eddie died on me. So, yeah, if you can find the right people, you can really make it work. But I would advise. And one reason I didn't hire the people from south of the border is I personally didn't know how to do it and hire legals and be legal with it all. And I knew it was going to take a lot more research. I just didn't have time to do it. I just didn't have the time to do it. So I tried using American labor, and it just didn't work. Anyway, I've rambled on enough here. If you've watched it this far, say, give me a clue. And say, Greg, wow, the skies sure are blue. Then I'll know you watched it this far. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for watching. And with that, Greg out.